you got your girl Rachel here with Italian Soul Sister. Simply because Italian food and soul food are both two of my favorite foods. Today, I'm going to be doing Sunday dinner for you. So normally when I do these videos, I use my air fryer or my Instant Pot. But today, I'm only using the stove and the oven. Let's get started. It's going to be delicious. Okay, YouTube family, now we're going to start with the meats. I have my turkey here. It's just a turkey breast. It's about 7 pounds. I had to take the back out of it because the back was standing up too high and it wouldn't allow my pot to close. Because I cook everything, all my turkeys, I like to make them in my Dutch oven. And this is just a turkey honeysuckle breast I got. It didn't come with the wings or the legs. It's about 7 pounds, and it's just the turkey itself. It's been already washed and peeled and all the innards taken out. Anyhow, I take about 1 cup of chicken broth, and these spices you see here. You got garlic powder, Memphis style barbecue seasoning, smoked paprika, and cayenne pepper. I take all of those and I mix them, about a teaspoon each, into the broth mixture. The broth mixture is already seasoned too, don't forget, because chicken broth is already salty. I take my flavor injector. Maybe this is where my nursing skills come in at. No, I'm just kidding. Anybody can do this. It's very easy. Draw back on a plunger. I don't like that one. I didn't get it full. I had too much air in there. Let me get full of liquid. That's better. And this whole entire cup of broth is going to be injected into this turkey. Anywhere in different places, mostly in the breast though. The breast is the leanest part of the turkey. So it's the part that would need the most flavor injected into it. And I just move it. You don't have to poke it a lot. You can move it around up under the skin because I don't want you to damage too much of the skin and make all these holes in the skin where all of your liquid is constantly seeping out. And so as you can see, I just kind of move my needle around in there. Move the syringe around while it's up under the skin. So even though I hit it here, I can still get juice in everywhere. See, you tell the juice is going in because it plumps up as you stick in it. And you just move it. That way I still have the protection of my skin, but I'm still getting the liquid in. And I just continue to do that until this whole thing, this whole cup of chicken broth is gone. And I just continue that. It only takes about 4 good pokes, I think. And I let that 1 poke put me everywhere I want to be. I don't suggest, because see how it's tight? Once I poke it, see how that area with the fluid is tight? If you put holes in everywhere, the fluid that you already put in will squirt out, all out the top, instead of staying into the turkey. So poke 1 time, try to poke as few times as possible. That way your fluid remains in the turkey where you actually want it to be. Okay, I got my turkey all poked up, and now I'm going to pour some of this chicken broth into the pan. And I'm also going to season the water down there because, of course, I'm going to put the turkey upside down into the water. I'm using this Memphis barbecue seasoning. Trust me, the turkey won't taste like barbecue. It's just giving it a little bit of smoke. A little smoked paprika, a little cayenne pepper. Not too hot because my kids are going to eat this. And I'm going to put some of my hot shot in there because I didn't put it in the syringe because this is coarse black pepper and it'll have more of a chance of clogging up the syringe if you put it in there with the chicken broth that you were using to inject it. A little bit of parsley. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken breast upside down in here. I have the back part that I pulled out still here. And I'm going to cook it all together until it shrinks down. And I'm just going to put a little bit of seasoning salt over the top. This already has been thoroughly seasoned, but I just put a little bit of my barbecue seasoning over the top still. Put the top on. You're going to throw this in the oven at 325 degrees for 2 to 3 hours. Okay, YouTube family, now it's time for us to get our meatloaf started. I'm starting with 1 pound of ground beef. It's super lean, so we're going to do something about that. It's only 20% fat here. We don't want a lean, dry meatloaf, so we're going to have to handle that. Throw that into my bowl here. And then I just had some Italian link sausages. I didn't have any. You can use sausage in a roll. You can use whatever sausage you want. You can cut up some sausage, whatever sausage you want. But we have to put some sausage in here to do something about the leanness of the ground beef. Plus, meatloafs are always super delicious when you mix in a little sausage with it. Okay, now that we have our mixture in here, we're going to add some breadcrumbs. That's about half a cup, or that's about 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs, actually. Some garlic powder. Just a little bit of barbecue seasoning. I'm just doing that for the smoke, folks. A little smoked paprika. And some cayenne pepper. Don't worry about the ingredients. If you look down in the description box and then click see more, you'll be able to see all of the ingredients I used in this. I also use something called all over it sauce. That helps keep the meat moist. I don't like this on stuff after it's cooked, but if you use it as a marinade or in stuff, as a seasoning base, it's very delicious. A piece of dry sauce fell in there. Little all over it sauce. You can put it all in it. Parsley. A little bit of my hot shot seasoning. And because I use breadcrumbs instead of Ritz crackers, I do add just a little bit of butter, a little bit of fat to my mixture. So I have buttery flavor, and I have fat to do something about the leanness of that beef. I add three teaspoons of butter, and I just cut it up into little tiny baby cubes like this, so it's easier to mix into the bowl. As always, I use my pre-chopped stuff. So I'm using my pre-diced, frozen diced bell peppers. This stuff works great, folks, and it saves you a lot of time. My pre-diced onions. They taste delicious in here and saves you a ton of time. And 1 egg. And then we mix. Okay, folks, because this is meatloaf, I use my loaf pan to cook it in. You can use any pan that you have. It doesn't have to be a loaf pan or anything. I like to do this too so that it'll have that loaf shape, you know, when it's all done. And we go ahead and just pat this on down. And there you have it. This pan goes in the oven at 350 for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what dish you use and how much you make. Okay, YouTube family, so now I'm going to start on the sides. I'm going to make macaroni and cheese and cabbage. To make my macaroni and cheese, I put 2 boxes of this Kraft Deluxe macaroni and cheese into a pot of boiling salted water. And now I have drained the noodles. I got this new octopus thing, y'all. Bear with me. To my drained noodles, I'm going to add 1 cup of milk, 1 whole stick of butter, 2 bags of extra sharp cheddar cheese, I don't do no cheese grating, y'all. That's not me. And both packets that came with the macaroni and cheese, both squeeze packets will be added in here. And 1 egg. And I stir. And slowly all of this will begin to melt in there. Go ahead and add the rest of my second bag of cheese. Stir it in. Once this is all melted, then I just put it into a pan, into a baking pan, and put it in the oven. And I just keep it in there for about 35 minutes till it's brown on top or till it's all set. It'll be brown on the edges a little bit, you know. All right. Now I need to get my pan, my tin. Just a minute. I got this new octopus thing, y'all, so I'm asking for y'all to bear with me now. So just to recap, I put the 2 boxes and the bags of 2 bags of extra sharp cheddar cheese, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of milk, all into this mixture here. And now we're gonna go ahead and throw it in our tin here, so we can bake it off and it can get all nice and gooey and crispy and stuff. I like to eat my spoon sometimes, y'all. Y'all like to lick y'all spoon after y'all do it? And throw this in the oven at 350. And you're going to throw it, or actually, this can go in the oven for 425 for 25 to 30 minutes. My bad. Okay. Okay, guys, I hope you can see everything. As I said before, I got this crazy new octopus thing I'm working with, so be patient with me. So anyway, I got a head of cabbage here. I'm getting ready to wash it. All I do is just cut it. And I like my cabbage pieces big. I don't like them too thinly sliced, so I just give mine a very rough chop. It's not really sliced down all that thin. Throw it in this water so I can get it washed. Let's get a little rain shower going here. These pieces is alright, but this needs a little bit on the fork. Cold. Doesn't matter really how you cut it. You can cut it however you like. You rough chop it. You can cut it up in thin slices. You can have it bigger, or you just only have big old leaves. It doesn't matter. However you cut it, it's gonna steam all just the same. Because we don't boil, we steam around here. Nobody wants to boil a piece of cabbage. Okay, and this is the last little piece. And then I wash it. In here I got this pot nice and full of nice cold water. And I just drop the rest of it down in here. Like that. and wash it up and down. Like a washing machine. We get it all nice and clean and drain the water out. Yes, that's simple. I also like to have carrots in my cabbage. So I'm going to just chop these baby carrots in half because I don't like to do no chopping work. So I do like to keep a whole lot of baby carrots around because that way I don't have to peel them, be dealing with no whole big dirty carrot and all this, washing it, peeling it, this and that and it. They already small and you can just throw them right on in there. Some of the bigger ones I will slice in half now. Some of the thick, bigger ones I would do that, but pretty much I leave them whatever size they are and let them go. Just like that. It's that simple, it's that easy. Now generally I put these in first, but I wanted to show you guys how I wash the cabbage. So I usually put those at the bottom because they're a little thicker than the cabbage. So put very little water on the cabbage. Just a little bit, like half a cup. Just enough to coat the bottom of this thing. Not none too much. This pot is kind of big though, so it may be taking like a whole cup. However big a pot or however much cabbage you're doing, just have enough till you have this much, a finger, this much, like half an inch down in your, when you stick your finger down into your pot, it should come up just past your nail. Like that. That way you know you got enough water to steam it, but you don't want to cover it in water. See how it's dry? You just see a little teeny water at the bottom, but the cabbage is primarily dry. Because we're just steaming it, folks. We don't want to do all that other stuff. Making it mushy and stuff. We don't like to eat that. So now we got that. Turn our fire on medium. We're going to throw a little bit of seasonings in here. Very simple. Seasoning salt. Cayenne pepper. Garlic powder. Why I put that even in there in the first place. Smoked paprika. And I'm going to put a little bit of chicken bouillon down into the bottom, down into the water where I had that water at. I'm going to put just a little bit of just chicken bouillon. It's Tones. It's member mark, Sam's Club. Tones chicken bouillon. Put a little bit of this down into the water down here. And it'll make its own little chicken broth. So that once the cabbage starts steaming, you know, I'll go ahead and toss it in it. Flip it around in there. Just put that in the bottom in the water part. You can put it before you start. I just didn't even think about it till just now. Now all I need is the top. Where's the top of my pan? I won't be using up all this. All right, y'all, and we're going to be taking off the top and twirling it in between, in the mean and in between time. Oh, it's not very soft yet, so we'll come back and check it in a few minutes. Altogether, this dish takes about 10 to 12 minutes to steam this cabbage. Okay, YouTube family, now I got the final component to my dinner here, which is my butternut squash. Now, this butternut squash is easy. You pretty much just peel the skin off with a regular peeler. You just come down and peel off the skin like that. This one has already been peeled, but that's all you pretty much do with it. Take the seeds. Once you cut it in half, you're going to see these seeds on the inside. You just dig them out. Some people save the seeds and roast them off. Toast them up or whatever. I don't know, whatever you want to do with them, but I just throw them out. You can toast them up and use them on salads, you know, use it as a topping on desserts, put a little sea salt on them, you know, eat them as a snack. Me, I don't do any of that because I'm too lazy to wash the strings off, so I just dig mine out. Just like this. Just dig out the inside. And then get ready to chop it. Now, the finer that you cut butternut squash, the more quickly it cooks. As you can see, I have my pieces kind of hefty here. I don't like any of my vegetables cut up none too small, so I'm a chunky girl. I like chunky vegetables, but you're free to just know that the cooking time varies based on how small you cut yours. So if you like them kind of petite size, make sure you don't have them cooking none too long. Just gonna go ahead and chop up the rest of this. I use my yams recipe on this, so I make this the exact same way that I make yams. But of course it is squash, so it doesn't take nearly as long to cook as yams do. But to me, it tastes just as good. I really can't tell the difference. But it's healthier because it's not a potato, right? So you're not getting a whole bunch of potato starch, even though yams are very good for you, actually. As y'all can see, we getting this here cabbage twirled around. And see how it is, how it still got a little body to it? That's about as soft as I want it. I don't want this cabbage no softer because once it gets boiled and goes limp, no good to me. I did do that, but that cabbage looked a little... Give me just a little bit. What is this? Back in here. Oh, got it wrong. Give me just a little bit of butter. It's a little dry. Oh, fail. Okay, YouTube family, now here we have our butternut squash. I put 2 cups of water in this pot because I'm making the whole squash. If you buy it from the store already pre-cut or something like that, you may only use the whole bag, half the bag, which is not this big. So because I'm making a lot, I use the whole thing. First, we're going to put in a little bit of vanilla. That's about a teaspoon. More like a tablespoon, actually. I'm sorry. a tablespoon of cinnamon, a cup of sugar. This is actually coconut sugar this here. I like to experiment with alternative sweeteners. And so this is coconut sugar, organic coconut palm sugar, but you can use 1 regular cup of sugar. You do not need this. This is just what I'm using today. Ooh, kind of got some caking going on. Cake. I'm going to use like 1/3 cup of honey. Like I said, you can just use regular sugar. You don't even have to have the honey. I like to use honey. People use also, instead of using 1/3 cup of the honey, they use regular sugar and 1/3 cup of maple syrup. You can use that too. Use it the same ratio and it will all come out just fine. Just basically making a simple syrup for your butternut squash here. I don't happen to have any nutmeg today, so I'm going to use just a little bit of cayenne pepper. Trust me, it's warm just like nutmeg. It'll be fine in there. But if you have nutmeg, just use a teaspoon of nutmeg. I use 1 teaspoon of salt, just regular salt, because salt makes sweet things sweeter. And a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to use 3 caps in this. I don't know why it does something to brighten it. I don't know. But it's the way that I make my yams too, so I keep the party going. Throw your butternut squash in there. You can cook it all on the stove just like this, like I'm going to do. Or you can throw it in the oven. Either way is fine. Again, we're not going to boil all the life out of this. We're just going to boil it until it softens and then it's done. We don't need to put the top on it, really, because we want the water to escape because we're reducing it, too. While we're cooking the squash in there, we want the syrup to reduce down and become more thick. That easy, folks. As you can see, the cabbage is over here chilling. It's been done. Let me just show you that up close. You see how that cabbage still has body, still has life in it. It's not limp and been boiled to death, but it's still delicious and tasty. Nice and soft, but it's not so soft that it's limp. We don't want that. If your cabbage is stewed or limp, then you overcooked it. Oh, guys, I forgot. The butter. Butter goes into the butternut squash. My bad. I forgot to mention that. It's about 4 teaspoons. Sorry about that. All right. That's the final component of our meal. Let's see how everything turned out. No, it's the best mode. Warm light is the best mode for it. That right there is the truth for it. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring this around the other way. Let me put this turkey out. I'm not gonna put these chops in the shot. flip it over.